what we've basically done, we went around and we came across some of these little stud screws, metal stud screws, peanuts, zippies, whatever you want to call them. They'll work. They'll work on the wood. They're not that long. It'll be fine. So basically, what we do, everything is stored out in the Marstian Mobile. So I'm going to put this here, give it a quick eyeball test, and say that's exactly where I want it. I'm going to put this here, squeeze it in, and then I'm just going to start it by hand, and then I'm going to grab the screwdriver. And this first one, I'm going to zip it all the way in, only because it's going to serve, I hope, I think, I'm not sure now. I'm not sure. Let me get in there and get it done right. Okay. To make it a little lighter, we'll just remove it from the canister. Put the yarn on my side. Get back in there and get it done. Okay, more or less, everything's about the eyeball. Doesn't be that accurate. Okay. It's a little harder than I bargained for, but we gotta get it done. We need fresh water. And I'm doing it lefty, so which is a little weird, but who says man is lefty or righty? Man is ambidextrous. Gotta be able to use both hands. So initially it may be a little labor, but it's okay. You have two hands. Use them. Okay. I'm not sure you can see, but okay. Let's give it a quick little test to see if this is going to work. Sure enough, it looks like it's working. So what we'll do now is get the other filtration system. As I said earlier, we're gonna switch the bracket around, put it in the right orientation, and then we'll hang it up, and then when we come back we should see two canisters hanging on the wall. Frank the Martian saying, maybe not. Let's just let you guys take a look and see the whole process, and then I'll probably just speed up through it once it becomes a little repetitive. Give me a second. Let me get the other canister. Here's the other canister. And as I said, initially I mounted the bracket on backward. This is the water going in. The water comes out this way. So switch it around because we're using this wall, right-sided wall, to mount it. So again, it's simple. I don't know if you can see it. Let me just make sure. Give me a second. Okay, so basically we're just gonna undo it. Now we just switch the bracket to the other side. Now the orientation is correct, and we can just go ahead and return these little screws to the task at hand. I'm reading to Mystery Martian, one of my favorite novels, by one of my favorite authors, Octavia Butler. Now the story that I'm reading her is probably not for an adolescent. It might be appropriate for, let's say, a young adult or maybe even an adult. Nevertheless, it's one of my favorite books, science fiction books, so I think reading being what it is, fundamental, it has absolutely nothing to do with what you're reading, just as long as you're reading. Okay, that being said, we can go ahead. Let me reposition the camera to make sure that you could see what we're doing inside the cabinet. Not sure. Okay, that's the first one, and the other one, let's go a little higher. Okay. So this one's going to go here. About the same height. So I'll give it about 2 inches separation. And as you can see, before we do that, we have to go back to screwing down the adapters. And we've done it before, but let's do it one more time together. Give me just a second. On the side of the thumb, and then go ahead and present the threads towards the right hand, and then underneath, swing around, give it three twirls or so. No big deal, nothing major. And since we have it in our hands, might as well do them both. Underneath, swing around, pinch, good, no, 1, 2, 3, roughly, doesn't matter. Not necessarily sure whether more would be better, so be careful, be mindful of that. So then, again, you insert it, turn it clockwise, and you're doing it by hand. You don't want to try and start it using the channel lock because you may damage the threads. So start it by hand, and get a feel for it. Let's do the other one again while we're at it. Make sure you line it up and then turn it, and it should go in relatively easy, no problem. Now once it gets a little tight, that's when the channel lock comes in handy. And again, don't over press with the channel lock. This is a plastic fitting. All you want to do is just gain yourself a little leverage so that you can turn it a little easier. And as I said before, once it bottoms out, and the only reason why I'm bottoming it out is because it's clear that this can bottom out without causing any problems. And once it bottoms out, I stop. I don't force it any further. I'm okay with that. That's comfortable. Very comfortable with that. Take a look at that. It just touched, and then that's it. And this is the one that has to be tightened. We'll do this one now. And if your tongue sticks out while you're doing something like this, that's okay. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Oh, put your tongue inside. Why is it sticking out? There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. And now this one too is bottomed out, but not stressed. It just touched and that was it. If you over tighten it, it will leak. So you don't want it to leak, so that's what you do. So now we go back to what we did before. Again, remove it from the canister. Alright, get your location, approximate. And then that's it. Start your first screw. As I said, we're doing this lefty style. Okay. Get a little leverage. And push and turn. And push and turn. Okay, it's in deep enough. I didn't set it down completely because I would like to do that when the bracket is in place, so I back it up. Then I go ahead and put it into the appropriate home, and now we turn it. Okay, it's good. Now, you may wonder whether or not it is extremely important to make sure that they're both at the exact same height. It's not. It's all an approximation. The holes will compensate, and it'll work just fine. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. If you're a perfectionist, then maybe you just go ahead and draw a little line and run it across, and then you'll start your screws on that line. Simple. However, again, little purchase, squeeze and turn. Okay, and then we come back to the first one and tighten it down all the way. Again, once it's nice and snug, you leave it alone. You don't want to overturn this because this will just rip the wood out, strip the wood out, and then you're not going to have any purchase on the material, and it's going to be very loose. So remember, snug it and leave it alone. 2 more to go. And it's a good idea to always wear some underarm deodorant when you're doing jobs like this, because the worst thing for you to do is to smell your underarm. And if you can't handle it, trust me, if you had any of the Martians working with you or anyone else, they'll let you know. Pew! But I'm smelling okay. Even though I'm sweating, I'm okay. So let's finish this one. Okay. And you might ask, can you use any power tools for this? Well, you could use power tools for everything. But when you don't have a power tool, just use the regular tool. What's it gonna do? Create some muscles, that's all. That's what it's gonna do. Muscles and some calluses. What's the big deal? Okay. Okay. All right, that's in. Now we'll go ahead and screw in the second canister and see how it's gonna look. The thing about these canisters, they screw on counterclockwise and they come out clockwise. Simply because the nut device, whatever you want to call it, it's underneath. If it was right side up, it'll be turning in the right direction. Upside down, you'll get the hang of it. Just be careful. So it's nice and snug. It's looking good. Now, at this point, we can decide which one is going to be the filtration system that's going to go ahead and be the let's say the one in the back is going to be the one that's going to be the filtration system for the particulates, and then this one is going to be the one that's going to be the filtration for, you know, with the carbon element inside. So this is the one, this is the end that's going to actually swing back and feed the kitchen faucet. So what we'll do now, though, just keeping that in mind, is that we need to tie these two in. So let me grab the camera and just make sure that you can see what I'm talking about, because this is going to get interesting right now. It's going to get nice. Let me make sure you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, right there. And as I was saying, we got the particulate filter back here, and then this is the one that's going to have the carbon cartridge for the other filtrations we were talking about. Now between these 2 points, a hose has to be connected. As I said to you before, don't worry about being so precise as to, you know, what's going on with it. I'll show you exactly why right now. Because what we're going to do, I'm going to move back a little bit now, the camera. You got to. Sorry about that, but it is what it is. Okay. Okay, so basically, as I said, we're going to be between these two, right? So what we're going to do, make sure you're not cutting my head off, man. What's the matter with you? Get my head in there. Okay. Okay, good. So what we're going to do, this is the hose is going to connect them. You see the way this is looping around? That's exactly what we want to recreate inside there. So at this point, we can cut it and it doesn't matter. You see the difference in height? It's not going to be a significant issue. So if we were to cut it right here, we have ample hose. Make it a little smaller. Let's not be so greedy. Let's cut it right here. We have ample hose to make both connections, and there's a little twist there, which is fine, which is not going to be an issue. So, as we said before, we will be using the kitchen scissors. Just be careful. Go slow. Don't cut yourself. Okay, so I'll just put this aside, and then once you finish cutting it, you may have to just reshape it into a nice little round circle. You know, just before that, you flattened it out. but that's fine. And remember, we're going to do the little twist. Don't kink the hose, just do the little twist, and then this is basically ready to insert. Now let me, I think you can see it from there, but I'm going to go ahead and move the camera once again. I'm sorry, but you got, I want you guys to see what's going on here. Let me put it over here once again, make sure that you can see what I'm talking about. So, you can see that? It's got the little twist to it. So this one goes in first. It bottomed out, we're good. And then this one slides in to the back. It too bottomed out. You try to pull it out, it's not coming out. That's it, we're done. So the water's gonna come through here. It's gonna do like a little roller coaster, loop the loop, and feed the next canister. And then this canister will just loop back and go ahead and connect to the hose that's going up into the sink up there. And then this one is going to receive the water initially. It's going to just simply drop down to the speedy connector right down here and get its connection. So it's going to go from here up to here, and that's it. In fact, this guy is long enough to do that. So what we will do at this point is, let's turn off the water and quarter turn, and it wouldn't hurt also to turn off the hot water. No big deal, no foul, no harm. Everything is turned off under there now. And then we're gonna go ahead and open up the faucet just to release any pressure. Let's see, we'll open up the faucet. Okay, to release any pressure, no pressure whatsoever. Well, the hot water still has a little bypass, but that's fine. It's just the cold water. Cold water's okay. We turn it off, and then now we're ready to take it apart. So again, like before, we use our trusted little channel lock to go ahead and undo it. So this one, use both hands. Okay. Okay, it's undone. And now lift up the hose so that you don't get any water escaping and pouring on your floor. So now we have the hose that we mentioned earlier. Let me leave it right there, I guess. Yeah, guys saw enough of me. Just take a look. Let me get that for you. Okay. So here, well, I gotta explain a couple of things. So let's just move this. We'll come back to that spot. Okay. So we spoke earlier. Yeah, that's good. We spoke earlier about this little nut and this little what is it called? Compression ring. So basically, the first thing you do is back the nut onto the pipe. Insert your compression ring. Now the compression ring has, if you will, it's tapered. You see the back part is a little higher than the front. That's exactly the way that you want to put it in there. You don't want to put it in this way. And it will go in both ways, but this way would be wrong. Okay? This way is wrong, so flip it back and do it the right way. Okay? And now basically all this is going to do is that once we put it inside the little angle stop, this little compression ring is going to sit on there, and when you tighten down this nut, it's going to form a very good seal, watertight seal. That's basically all it is. Don't think anything more of it. That's it. So I'm going to go ahead and put the camera back in position so that you could actually see that. Okay, let's adjust it. Okay. right there, and then here we go. As we said, compression ring, insert the hose into the angle stop first. Insert it, make sure it goes all the way in. Good, it's bottomed out. Then you bring your compression ring and your compression nut and you start to tighten it. Tighten it, and tighten it as much as you can by hand. And then you just give it a quarter turn, not a big turn. You see where the wrench is? The wrench is right there. You're gonna just stop right about there. That's it, quarter turn. Don't go crazy. Now we'll go ahead and let the let the hose swing back, and then we're gonna see more or less where we want to cut it, and this is a good spot to cut it. So once again, we'll get our trusty little kitchen scissors, line it up, being careful, we cut it, and then we shape it. Okay, and once that's done, we go ahead and push it inside, just like we did with the others, and then that's it. Once it's in, it's in. Now, the only thing left to do at this point, well, we have several things left to do. Let me put it in the right position. Okay. We have several things to do right now. Not too many though, but the one thing that we have to do is make this connection go to the sink. And here's the hose right here. So what happens if we just simply feed the hose right through this side? Okay. We can just leave it right there actually. You don't even have to feed it. Now it looks a little easier. So basically, we see that we could almost just use this guy right into that, of course. And how do we make the connection between this and that? Just give me a second. We're gonna take a quick little pause and then start it up again, because the camera's been recording for close to a half hour. She likes to shut off on her own. This is Frank the Martian saying, we'll be right back.